Happy 100k. Yes, this is the stream, the live stream from my 497,000 subscribers where I drink alcohol in celebration for this milestone, this 100k milestone that we are currently in. We are currently at 104,000. That was yesterday, and what a difference a day makes. What a massive gargantuan dump we just had. This is girthy beyond girth. This annihilated a lot of people. This is another reason why you don't want to play high leverage in either way, either direction, long or short. You just don't. You just do not mess around with it. Okay, you just don't. It's just so risky. I mean, if you look at this, there's so many problems with this in terms of if you do high leverage, because I don't know how to. There's so many problems with this. So this chart here, so you've got the liquidations here. It's the 3-day liquidations. We're going to touch on this bit up here soon, but as you can see, this is what happened. You are obviously very aware of that. So the problem is that if you do high leverage and you see this is coming down from 104,000 and it's coming down, and you did a big, say, leverage trade, you could see it coming down from, I don't know, 96, or you just got in, you did your limit order here, right, for your short. You did your limit order for your short at 94k, because that would be the trend, right? The trend, according to what's your limit order, as that should be why you're doing a trade, is to get in on a trade where there is a trend, because you don't want to go into a trade where you're catching a falling knife and it continues going down, or then you want to be sort of strategic and plan your trades out accordingly and apply TA to it. Multiple confirmations on the chart there should be for you to consider a trade. But because of what happened yesterday with this liquidation dump, market makers swiping the market, you would have been liquidated if you did high leverage immediately, because it went right back up. So they liquidated the longs and they liquidated the high leverage shorts as well, because when it comes back up, say you had a position here to do a short as well, you would have got liquidated immediately because of that situation, because the price comes back up so rapidly. More longs come in, more whales come in buying this dip. Your high leverage short would have been swept. So it works both ways. This move here, it worked both ways. It wiped a lot of people out, long and short, long story short. And the reason, they dumped it so far is not because they decided to sell, and that's why they got back into, then do a long. Obviously that's what they do half the time, but because there was so much leverage in this area, so much leverage around here, right? You can see it here. That's what it does, is that when that liquidation area meets and it gets triggered, this automatically creates a market sell order on the books, right? So this creates a market sell order, and what happens when you sell? The price ultimately goes down when you sell. So the more liquidations there are to the downside, then, and the more that will occur, then the more sells are going to be triggered. So if I sell $1 million worth of Bitcoin here, the price will come down slightly, right? In theory. And someone's liquidation level was here, and that would sell, that would create a market sell on their order further, which increases the price further down to then meet these higher leverage positions which really tank, and then so on. So it's like a domino effect of everyone's leverage in combination. Also, it's not just people being sort of liquidated 100%, it's also people's stop losses as well. So if people had limit orders set here to get into a long at say 50x leverage, and their stop loss was here, then that's automatically putting money into the market to then selling some based on their stop loss. So their stop loss could be what, 5%, or for example 5-10% of their trade, and that will create another sell, and then we go down lower and lower until all the liquidation is swept. So initially the market maker could have just dumped it to here, realized that that's all it took or takes to further liquidate more, and then based on that, they already have their limit orders set. This is what some of them do, and then they long back up, and now here they are again in a massive gain. So, and exchanges as well do this, like notoriously do this. So that's what happened. That is a classic case of them flushing the market out, because this is what we need to just, as traders in this market, this is what we need to realize, and this is a lesson that we can see painted for us. This is a lesson painted for us. So they've given us the answer, and we already know this, that when the market gets too high, everyone's making money. Everyone is making money on this, and you have to be doing something seriously, catastrophically wrong if you're not. I mean, you have to, I don't know what you're doing, 10,000 times leverage or something, but you have to be doing something wrong to not be making money in this stage here, all this uptrend. Obviously this is where you get nuked, clearly, but yeah, 99% of people are making money, and they know that. They can see that, and that's why we get this to restart the leverage, because the leverage obviously got way too high. People putting high leverage because we were above 100k. Probably people thought, as you can see here, that we're not going to go under 100k, but obviously we did. We went to 104. That's when we started to turn around, and they spanked the market for it. They did. When we see, this is a lesson, like I said, when we see this happen, where the markets are going way higher, right? We're above. We're at 104,000 yesterday. So what we need to take into account here. This is not financial advice, of course. This is my theory. These are my thoughts and just some random trader on the internet. So when we reached 100k, massive historical figure for Bitcoin, for obvious reasons, that is going to cause a lot of manipulation, sellers of course as well, but ultimately manipulation, because in crypto we want the price to go higher, and they are manipulating it down. So the lesson here is, when we see these markets go too high too quickly as well, on the 15-minute, this was pretty quick, because we went down that day where we reached 100k. We went down to like 90. This is the same day, wasn't it? Tuesday. What day is this? Thursday morning. Yeah, Wednesday. We went down to as low as 90, just under 95. Then, and then obviously that was, that, if you got in there, bloody hell, if you got into that trade there, wow, you made a killing, and you stayed in all that time. Blimey. So we went up 10,000, right? $10,000 in the space of what, 9 hours? What was that, 8:30 to 3 in the morning? That is a trade. That is a trade. Sorry, that's less than 9 hours. Let's say yes. You can see 6 o'clock to 3 in the morning. So in 9 hours we went up 10 grand. That's $1,000 an hour. Bloody hell. So when that happens, I think the lesson there is, I think you know where I'm going to go with this, right? So obviously you want to get out of the trade when it reaches a level. So the next level from here, say we go up here again, we're back, we're so back, but then we get to say 110 would be the next massive milestone, and then 120, right, or 125, people were saying that's the next big area of predictions. So when it reaches these levels, you want to get out of trades. You want to profit from your trades. What are you doing still being in this trade if you caught that trade? You need to get out of it, take your profits, and literally live to fight another day in this market, because this can just blow your entire account and then you have to start again, which is not fun. Not fun at all. So get out of that trade, and then know, especially when it's about to reach 110k, say, or 125, get out about a couple of grand before that, say 108, just get out of it. You're in profit. You've made money. More money, especially you're at your computer making money. Whereas if you had a full-time job doing this, I mean, it takes hours to earn that amount of money, the amount of money you made in a space of, depending on the trade and how long you're in it, right? It could be 5 minutes. Sometimes I make, like a couple of $100 in the space of 10 minutes. I mean, that's an example, and it takes a couple of days work for some people to do that. So that's an example. It's nuts. It's kind of crazy how much money you can make from this. Anyway, I digress. So you're out of that trade now. You know that from this lesson here that this can happen. This can happen again. This dump. So when we're here, you wait. You patiently wait. You can be in a trade like a 3x leverage trade, and you'll very likely be fine. You'll very likely be fine. But have funds on another account, which is what I always do now. I have funds scattered everywhere now on multiple sort of dexes and wallets. Just to be always in a certain trade. Exchanges as well, like Blowfin. So be in, if you want to be in a trade and you're addicted to being in trades and you just want to constantly potentially make money, fine, do it. That's what I do. But have a large amount as well on the side. This larger amount is for situations like this. So if you know that they can drop the market, say 8%, then you know that they are likely going to do it again. So that at that 110 and at that 125, prior to that, you set your limit order at, I don't know, say if we're at 110, you set it at 100, right? You just set it at 100 or 102 to be safe, just so you know you're going to be in that trade if it drops that far down. Now that is a scenario where you can literally catch a falling knife, right? And it can be very profitable, very, very profitable. And because it dropped, Bitcoin drops, in theory, if that scenario happens again, 7 to 10% again, and you do a 5x on that or a 6x, just because they're flushing liquidity out of the market, liquidations, longs, if you know that, and they're going to do it again, do a 5x, do a 6x, because it's very, very likely that you're going to get a bounce like this, right? And you are going to make some serious money. That bounce there from 91.9 to 96.8 or 97 to now 98. We're at 98 now. That on a 6x in the space of 30 minutes because you caught it down here, next 15-minute candle, you have made a shitload. You've made a shitload, right? Just on a 6x or a 5x. Or if you want to go super degen, do whatever you want, but I don't recommend it. You get the idea. So when we are reaching, this is the lesson today from this gigantic dump. When we are reaching levels like this, euphoria levels, like short-term euphoria levels, we're not at euphoria levels yet in the bull run. But when we reaching these levels, this is a six-figure crypto. I think it's likely that we're going to see a shift back down based on manipulation. So I hope that gives you an idea and some sort of thought for the future, because this is going to happen again. This dump is going to happen again. It's happened before in many areas, especially when we first reached 69,000 earlier this year. We reached a new all-time high. We saw lots of dumps like this. It happened. We saw them. You obviously remember it now because I've mentioned it. But it's like when it happens and then we move on, we sort of forget until this happens again. I obviously forgot about that until I saw this. I was like, oh my god, we've had this before, you know? And you sort of like need to have a little post-it note on your screen or like a constant reminder somewhere. I don't know, when you're trading, you need that reminder because you can easily forget that can happen. So I hope that helps. You know, put a limit order. If you know if we've come too high here, 104,000. It's ridiculous. Literally 104,000 on Coin. This is the Coinbase chart. 104,000 to the penny. That should give you an idea of how controlling they are with this as well, to bring it down that accurately. So yeah, bear that in mind. Next dump. And you can see it coming based on sort of this move, this type of move. Put a limit order at say 8% on Bitcoin, 8% down, and you know, do a 5x, 6x. You can increase your leverage on that because we've come down so much. The risk reward is slightly lower, meaning the risk, because we've come down so much. So we're more likely to bounce higher from that dump because it's a wick. This is literally, it's not like a trend like this. Say like, you know, like this is a trend coming down. Oh, we're likely to come down lower, right? That's the trend until the trend breaks and then we come back up. But this wick, not normal. Not normal. Obviously we're coming down here because 104k, that might have been when they started it as well. But you can see, you know, that's not normal. And you're going to get a wick back up. You're going to get a bounce. So I hope that helps. And I hope you didn't get wrecked last night either, because it can be very, very dangerous. Low leverage. I'm considering, based on this now, just to try and snipe these on one account and use obviously the other account primarily for constantly being in a 3x. Yes, the other account now I do where I'm permanently in trades. I'm just doing 3x trades on that for situations like this, because especially when I thought about that, you know, lowering that leverage because we're coming too high. I thought, you know, we're bound to see a bit of a sell-off here and then a trend down. I didn't expect this, but I did expect maybe a trend downwards slowly to, you know, the low 90s, but I did not expect this to happen. But obviously now I should have expected it, but you know, based on history. But now, post-it note in my brain that this can happen if we reach, you know, 110, 125. Do a limit order for 6x or something like that down here, and then you get a nice return. It's just how it's going to happen again. And it's consistent because you've seen these sort of 8 to 10% dumps back in March when the first thing happened, when Coinbase went down as well a couple of times. and the manipulation there that happened as well with reaching the all-time high, like I touched on. So yeah, bear those things in mind. I hope that helps, and yeah, give it a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.